Hello, everyone, to another Kimchi Chat. This week we are profiling Criminal Minds and checking in with a Chinese favorite. So first things first is we're going to talk about Lost Love and Times because last week Aunnie hadn't had a chance to watch more than the first episode. So I wanted to check with you to see, are you liking it so far?
So much to talk about. Right now, I think I'm up to episode 6, and I'm actually finding it really difficult to get into this couple, the main couple. Not because I don't like their acting, it's not because of the storyline. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. It is because of the storyline. This man who is supposed to be calm, cool, and collected, and like a very good strategist, and is supposed to be make his moves, like calculated moves, is not making calculated moves when it comes to this woman. It was too fast. I couldn't fall in love with them, if that makes any sense. I couldn't fall in love with them because it happened so quick. I barely even saw any romance. I'm like, how do you know what was the defining moment? What made you love this woman? Watching this, I can't tell how he fell in love with her. And I need to be able to see that to believe it. And she kind of almost seems like in the beginning, like, I'm just kind of along for this ride. And then it got too serious for her, and she was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if we should do this. And then it just got really pushy. And I don't know. I'm kind of glad she reset everything. I don't know with that storyline if I could have continued to like the main guy.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That first love story is really fast. I know that when he hugs her for the first time in the meandering skies, and that's the first kind of moment you realize, oh, they're in love now. I'm like going, what? Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. And then by the time that they have to do all these tests and everything, and he shows up and they're willing to die with each other, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, well, I'll buy it. But it's like, I'm emperor now, so let's get married. Even though nobody is ready for this break with thousands of years of tradition.
Right?
You
They
know,
had just gotten used to him being emperor. Like they had just decided, okay, he's dethroned everybody.
I think
So
that they had to provide a reason to reset everything. And the only way to really do that is to rush, I think, is what they did. The only problem is that it really kind of it felt like they were undermining their own character. Now, I will say, in the new timeline, everything is not better. But he's not rushing. And so I'm okay with this. I'm still like going, I think the last timeline was actually the good one. It might have
oh
been better
no,
have
oh no.
died then. But the new timeline is a little more deliberate, a lot of more intrigue. People that were friends aren't friends now. She was warned. Friends will now be enemies, and da 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 da.
I don't know. I might like this new timeline a lot more than I like the old one still.
It kind of cracked me up to see Huang Maggie show up as the princess of the Ai
Oh
tribe.
yeah,
Um, because
yeah.
her character so far has been pretty decent. She's the
Hmm.
princess and a general of her country. But I instantly disliked her. I'm like going, she hasn't done anything. But there's just intense dislike and distrust for her character. And I was like, just going, why do I not like this character? I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I looked her up and I realized that she was Sujin from 10 Miles, who we all hate with a passion. I'm like going,
Oh,
okay, I've got to let this one go because, you know, my hatred for Sujin is creating a prejudice against this character. And so far, this character hasn't behaved badly yet.
all right. So
Let's talk about Criminal Minds.
first off, have you watched the any of the American version?
I have, but not in a long time. I stopped watching American TV like 6 years ago. So,
I haven't let go of the American TV entirely yet. Um, I did, however, crunch 5 seasons of Criminal Minds while I was pregnant. I love American Criminal Minds. I love it
It's a
so,
good
so
show. It
much.
is a good show.
I was afraid when I started this one that I'd have a lot of expectations going into watching the Korean. Just like I'm gonna have a lot of expectations of The Good Doctor when that
Hmm.
comes out on American television from Korea. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, one, I thought that the beginning was well done, extremely well done.
Hmm.
For a beginning showing that initial explosion, the bomb, and everything, and how that so hard damaged Lee Joon
Hmm.
Gi's character and Sun Hyun Ju's character. You know, both of
Oh
them
yeah.
are haunted by the mistakes made during that incident. And
Hmm.
I just loved it. I was just sitting there going, oh my gosh, what a just watching them walk through the devastation and then seeing the post-traumatic stress that they both dealt with. It was just really good. And
Hmm.
I've only seen the first two episodes so far, and
Yep.
I just really loved how they told this story. I feel like they've written Lee Joon Ki's character as he just comes across to me as an American cowboy.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
he's especially once he started throwing his gun around, because
Oh.
if you watch the opening credits when their little silhouettes are walking, his character
Hmm.
is holding a gun and he's cocking it and he's holding it suggestively, and I'm just sitting here going,
Yeah.
okay. And then when it comes time for him to start shooting people, I'm just like going, it's a cowboy, he's a cowboy,
Yep.
he is totally a gunslinging, he would fit, this character would fit in any American Western sheriff.
I really like his character. The character is just cynical enough that it makes my heart sing, because I anybody who's too trusting, knowing his history in the sense of that he is a profiler. There's many times during this episode, the first two episodes, that I forgot that he himself is actually a profiler. And but he has, because of this incident, that explosion and how that went down, he put a lot of distrust in his education and his self-confidence as a profiler. So he's
Mm-hmm.
basically just going on instinct now, and he's very emotional, not in that like I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every single night kind of way, but he runs on emotion. So it's his cynicism that fuels him. It's his cynicism that gets him, um, or it's his passion for fixing what's wrong, or finding the forgottens, or his passion to do a good job, and that he still truly believes in the work that he does, that gets him to work every day. It's his anger, especially in that scene when he like pulls that gun and he's like, and it's in his mentor's face. That whole scene, I was like, oh my God, he is on edge in a not a good way. I'm gonna throw this out there before I forget, because I just remembered that I want to definitely say this. I have a theory, I have a prediction, and I'm gonna get it out there, and we're gonna hope and pray that I am incredibly wrong. But I have a feeling his wife is gonna die. The second she said, "We're pregnant with our second baby," I'm like, and you're dead. You've signed your death warrant. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased because I've seen all of the American version, and I know wives don't do very well in this series. If you don't get married, if you're going to be in Criminal Minds. Did you get that vibe at all, or is it just
Oh
me?
yeah, I totally felt
Okay.
like there was foreshadowing going on. I
Oh
was
yeah.
just like going,
Yeah.
and then
I wish
and then
you hadn't said that.
yeah, well, the way that they did it felt like foreshadowing. It really did.
The crime itself, for that we're in the first two episodes, and I was trying to explain this to Fern earlier today. She hasn't seen any of it yet. She's going to, but she hasn't yet. If you watch a Korean movie, you're more likely to see graphic scenes in a Korean movie when they can rate it and regulate who sees it. In television, not so much. But this one is the crime and the way that it was carried out, the story behind the accomplice. I
Mhm.
felt very, very true to the American show Criminal Minds. As they don't pull punches in Criminal Minds. They have
No.
despicable bad guys on there. They have despicable stories. I'm very much not disappointed with the way the show started, and I'm hoping it will continue. I'm assuming with 20 episodes, knowing how K-dramas go, 20 episodes will be just enough to hopefully get this story completed without it dragging on.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up everything for this week's episode. Make sure to subscribe to us and check out the links to our individual pages, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
안녕하세요.